talking about a data vendor, meaning it's a commodity. We all hear that, data is a commodity. There's so many different vendors. I can go, you guys all look the same. What's really the difference? Everyone's scraping from the same sources, but it's not necessarily true. And I think if we were to say this, one thing to remember is that data shouldn't be just transactional, right? Data, that's our first point. Data changes and moves. I'm going to say that because John is a data guy and Pat and I are data people. But what is the difference, and what would you look for in a data partner versus just thinking about it as a straight transactional commodity component?
Yeah, and I know it's always kind of a bone of contention because every data provider I've ever worked with, they want to be, a product. Here's just a product. But to be successful and to have your campaigns be successful, you really need a partner in that process, right? So they can't just back up a truck full of data and dump it off to you. They really got to help you with what you're trying to, what your goals are. Like Pat mentioned, what are you trying to accomplish? And if they're a data partner, they're with you all along the way, right? Making sure that your campaigns are successful. Make sure that they have the transparency and the flexibility on everything from usage to how they're actually giving you the data, how you're obtaining the data. Is there flexibility in trying to get to the goals of what you're trying to accomplish versus a data vendor that just says, okay, you want all of Australia, here you go, I'm going to back up the truck and you can take it off. I mean, that's the big difference, right?
Yeah, I know sometimes, John, you talk about how, all data is directional, right? I think there's this thought and hope that data, it's always a source of truth. And who's that source of truth? And sometimes it's understanding, well, if you think LinkedIn is the source of truth and someone presents you a number that looks different, which one is right or wrong? What's the average? How does it matter? So Pat, if you thought about it a little bit differently, what would a good partner provide? Is it about targeting? Is it support? Is it running offline counts? Is it being, willing to go chase additional data? Because over the course of a year, needs are going to change and the data itself is going to change.
Well, I think it's a combination of various bits of knowledge, right? On one hand, of course, every vendor is going to have great product knowledge, and they should come to you and they should tell you the best way to use their product, right? But also realize a lot of data vendors may have more data experience than you as the buyer. I mean, like I said, I've been doing this 38 years, John, for decades. When you talk to a data salesperson, make sure that the person you're dealing with has great experience, because not only are they going to share their experience about how to use their product, but if they're really good, they're going to help you also, again, try to help you achieve your goals. They're going to remind you of various things you need to be aware of for compliance. They're going to, talk about, different ideas and suggestions of achieving that goal that may not even include the data, right? And that's when we talk about having a partner rather than a vendor. It's someone that's there to help you achieve your goal, not just sell a product, get the booking, and go on to the next customer.
Yeah, and I'd probably even say, in my own experiences, be wary of anyone who says, yes, I can do that, I can do that, I can do that. Because sometimes the best answer is no, that's actually defying the laws of physics. And I know we have a lot of these examples where a client has built a tremendous model, they've used AI, said, here it is, I've got the list of the perfect accounts in the US and Turkey that fit the profile, this is who we should be selling to. And then we often have to reply and say, well, that might be true, that those 1,000 accounts seem like they should be right. But if you can't find the right kind of buyer at an account, it may not be the right account. And there may not be 1,000 companies in the healthcare segment doing 50 million or more in Turkey, right? These things sound obvious, but sometimes as they come down to you as the buyer, the person responsible, how do you kind of balance the reality check? And a good partner should be comfortable telling you, no, we can't do it. We can't get it. It's not legal. I can't provide you mobile numbers in Germany without some risk. And if you want to take that risk, I want to explain to you what it is and what you need to do to use it. Honesty generally helps.
Yeah, but it's funny you say that, right, Meredith? Because the no, right? If your data, the person you're talking to selling you data, continues to tell you yes, or continues to tell you the things that you want to hear, they're being a vendor and not a partner. Because there's so many times that it's a rough question for a sales guy to answer when you're like, no, the answer is no, that's not accurate, or no, that field has got a 0% fill rate, but we have that field because it is on the roadmap and it's going to be there. and we need you to know that it's part of the data. You know, giving you the hard answers that typically you don't want to answer as a sales guy, but if they're telling you what you don't want to hear and they're being transparent, they're helping you along the way, even though you're like, well, I really want that to be filled. Well, it can't be because it doesn't exist now, but we can get that for you, right? So I think
Yes,
that
I mean, bottom line here, you are within your right to ask for what is the support you should be seeing down the line. Can you help me with my targeting, my market sizing, right? Don't just accept what counts might look like. They may not be as helpful.